А. Sword to the beat. What is that? Sword to the beat. It's this one, but it says that the event is permanent. What? Okay. Sigrika story quest. Where should I go? I don't see any markers on the map. Ah, here it is. I see it now. I guess I can change quality settings now because I don't use translator for now.
Safety measures. Check.
Indicates precision and quantification are the bedrock of science. They're what make verification, replication, and comparison.
Energy consumption increasing.
Lucilla. There's a matter regarding the new solar celebration I'd like to discuss in detail. If you have a moment, come find me at these coordinates. And keep this in mind. When the one from afar touches the truth, the door of dreams will appear. Let's go to the dormitory. Oops.
Energy consumption increasing.
Spectral analysis indicates
Привет, Skyfox, как твои дела? Как проходит неделя?
Energy consumption increasing.
Just call her classmate Iris. And she'll probably do anything you ask.
Мои неплохо. Очень много озвучки провалило из-за благодаря лицензии, вот.
Energy consumption
Поэтому
increasing.
я пока что ночами не особо сплю. Это, конечно, грустно, но и хорошо одновременно. Как только выровняемся с расписанием, все будет супер гуд. Окей. Да, слезенок это круто. Его записывала на днях. Потом сегодня или завтра буду записывать еще одну серию. Так, я думаю, что все-таки стоит понизить немножко quality. Окей.
New solar celebration and riddles. Here I was thinking we could use this chance to relax, but that architect guy from the Fraxidus mentioned it too.
Ну, знаешь, один сериал придется перезаписать с первого сезона, а слизь, да, первый сезон и перезаписывать уже не нужно будет.
Yes. The Grand Architect treats everything happening here in the High Roy as a game.
Without you, the game in the High Roy would be so boring. So, you get prizes. Now, at the upcoming new solar celebration, among all the lovely students stands a member of the Fraxidus.
A Fraxidus agent is hiding among the students, biding their time to strike during the celebration.
Hello, Rest Alive.
Maybe that's what President Lucila wants to discuss.
How are you doing?
Makes sense. But what's with the one from afar bit?
Probably a riddle.
Are you here to ask me for another support Ash game?
Let's go see the president and find out what she's planning.
I think I call you by your full nickname a lot, especially on the stream. Especially on streams, right?
Energy consumption increasing.
Detected. Strong behavior and spectrum signature match.
We've got the mind-bending herder, the eccentric traffic illuminator.
А как можно исковеркать твой ник?
You could just ask her for consent.
Скифох? Скифокс?
Element concentration. Just call her class. The trajectory seems confirmed.
I see. I'll count on you then, Dr. Luke.
Скуф. It's funny.
Ah, Rover's here. I'll brief her on the situation.
President Lucila, what do you need us for? And what did you mean by the one from afar who touches truth?
Why don't you take a guess? It means exactly what it says.
The one from afar is me. And the truth that reveals the door of dreams is...
The truth has waited for you here for a very long time.
Is she saying that I have to sleep? To take a nap? Ну слушай, если твои первые 4 буквы как бы произнести наоборот, получится фикс. Ну что-то есть, что-то есть, понимаешь? Well, Rasta, do you really have any doubts about that you are retarded? While you're playing games with me and Bimchi?
Oh, quite. When it comes to dreams, that is the absolute truth. A simple riddle, isn't it?
Okay. But, what's that got to do with us? You didn't call us here to solve a riddle, right?
You're here because I'd like you to investigate the Academy's dark side. We believe the Grand Architect's next move is tied to it.
Maybe because I don't know. Maybe because main character in this game is actually important, and not just for decoration. I also like that the voice of our little friend is not so annoying as how was your as Paimon's voice? Yes, I remembered.
Think of it as the Academy's reflection. It's a special sonorosphere, formed from the collective emotions of the student body. It's an inseparable part of this place, a mirror into the thoughts of every student here, a reflection of their youth.
Looks beautiful. Ah.
Youth. A fascinating concept. So full of ideals and passion, but also anxiety and sorrow. The dark side absorbs it all, reflecting their true selves back at them. And that's not all. Imagine the dark side as a vortex. Negative emotions like anxiety and sorrow form its eye.
They swell and collide, seeping into the students' minds. Over time, they come to affect the Academy itself.
Exactly. It's been troubling the Academy for some time.
Thank you for follow.
Many of our students were hailed as geniuses back home, only to discover they're just one of many here. They've given their all, yet find the peak they once stood upon is now out of reach.
Thank you for follow.
The dark side forces these young minds to face that truth. A harsh reality that can be difficult to accept. In the end, the Research Institute found a way to confine the dark side within riddles, turning it into a harmless game that students look forward to each year. Solve a riddle, face your problems, and process the emotions festering in the dark side. That was the original purpose. But recently, something's changed. Dr. Luke has reported a sharp decline in students' mental states, as if they've been influenced somehow. At the same time, I detected a frequency in the dark side that doesn't belong to the Academy. It can't be traced or analyzed.
Yes, I can speak Russian too.
We need
Actually, it's my
information,
native language.
but we're stretched thin. Between
Hello.
hunting for the Fraxidus agent,
Nice to meet
the
you.
celebration approaching, and dealing with the students' deteriorating mental health, it's not looking good.
The Grand Architect intends to create chaos in the Academy to conceal their true objective.
Cause I want to be an
Looks like we'll have to
international
investigate the
VTuber.
Academy's
Yes.
dark side ourselves.
VTubing
So
is not
this pillar
much popular
Is the key to getting in?
in Russian.
I see. This is our starting line.
Yes, head in whenever you're ready.
From
I'll
Russia.
stay outside and keep in touch.
So, this is the Academy's dark side.
That's right. Do you see them? The floating astronaut helmets along with the desks and chairs. They are the students.
Why is there so much Lucille in
They took
Sigrika's
root in the
quest?
academy and were shaped by their emotions. Chapters in their youth, you might say. Let's move on. You need to find the alarm clock. A pillow is an invitation to sleep, just as an alarm clock is a call to wake up. It is your key to leaving this place. When the Institute bound the dark side, they took great care to ensure the students' safety. Every riddle has an answer. And if the key proves elusive, there are always a few backup measures. So, breathe easy.
Okay. Well, every country has its own issues, I think.
The things you said, I've never thought of it that way before.
That's amazing.
And good sides too.
There's someone ahead.
Likely a reflection made by the dark side. Oh, that particular student, though.
What's with them?
The data's wrong no matter how you look at it. Wrong, wrong, wrong.
У меня сильный русский акцент.
What else can I do? I've tried everything. You mean I should just give up? But
She's not talking to you.
right. It's not like anyone on the team would miss me anyway.
She's no longer a student here. I remember her. She once proposed a few research hypotheses. Brilliant. Just headed in the wrong direction.
Was she dropped
She
from
never
school?
could get past that.
From academy?
The dark side absorbed her pain.
Mm-hmm.
Here it remains.
I wish you I wish you a good day too.
I'm so
Hello, Racy.
tired.
I
I
hope
don't know
so.
what to do anymore.
But I'm not a son.
Then why not stay? You've thought about it, haven't you?
And you're not my father. Oh.
Just give all your worries to me. Relax. Let me help you.
Seems like it's the voice of the actual culprit.
Track it down.
I don't know.
The things you said? You're finally here, Sigrika! Took you long enough.
While
You're
location.
always studying those
wait.
rooms and never have time for us.
Sigrika. I've heard that name before.
No, stream with Amy would be only at evening. I think it would be at 8 o'clock or somewhere near. (8 p.m.) Yes. Why locations in this game for story quests are so interesting and beautiful? What the hell?
Okay not to know. Just stay here.
These people are all talking to the same voice. Is it influencing them? President Lucilla?
No, PM. Post midnight. No? А нет, no. Is wait. It's wrong. Wait. It's totally PM, but I forgot how to. It's post meridian? Yes. Поздравляю, Skyfox. Может, это повод начать играть?
Signal's been cut off.
Be careful, Rover. Something smells off here.
Тут обещали добавить в скором времени русский перевод, но когда он в итоге появится, не ясно. Жесть, а что у тебя за источники, расскажешь?
A rabbit.
Ooh.
Looks
Jump,
like it's
jump,
waiting
jump.
for us.
Jump.
These frequencies smell different now. Stay alert, Rover.
Is it like Alice in the Wonderland story? Yes. Клео, это ты? Well, I know, I'm not sure, but I think I know only the one word in Spanish. I guess it's the color of black. Because of some jokes or strange stories. Anomaly. I feel like I'm circling back to the same dead end. No matter which way I turn, I can't see the light. The data, the formulas, they don't mean anything to me anymore. The right direction? Maybe I should trace back through the previous records. I remember leaving them in one of the rooms. I see it now. My direction was wrong from the very start. Maybe I shouldn't even be here anymore. Lately I keep hearing the strange melodies around the academy. And I keep seeing this weird rabbit. It seems to be trying to point me in a certain direction. Rabbits, man. Can't believe I'm placing my hopes in one. Okay. Let's believe in Cleo. Ага. Вот is wrong with ага. I found it. It was there all along.
Is that Navora?
What? Okay. Yes, she is.
That was amazing! I knew you could solve it! No matter what kind of riddle it is, you'll always find the answer. You really are a future Heliotic 6 successor.
Mm-hmm. It's all about Sigrika. You're right. Aga is Aga.
I believe in you, my dear girl.
Oh, Chucha.
You will become an excellent
Come
soul
here,
sword.
my little Chucha. Did you heard his meow?
What's the point of working so
Okay.
hard?
Time to have some fight.
Why not just tell them you can't do it and quit? Hmm?
No hesitation. Hopefully the end has come.
Cinematic.
I hereby illuminate this rune.
Actually, I thought her voice would be more energetic.
Be gone at once.
Oh, she's adorable. She's checking on us. She had so many cute faces in that cinematic. Oh, she looks like a cat now. With that eyes. Да, кота Шрека.
Oh, I know you. You're that freshman who was muttering to herself in class.
Do you mean dubbed by Anilibria? No. It won't be.
How is it that you're here?
Me? I'm here to solve the riddles, of course. The picture in my riddle led me here. But everything's become a bit of a mess. Strange runes were scrawled all over the place. But I've almost figured it all out. The exit is just...
Thank you for follow. Hmm?
Behind you.
These runes again. Come on, we're getting out of here.
What's happening here? Huh?
What kind of riddle did you get?
A picture
A clock?
made of runes. What was yours? Oh, this way.
What the hell?
I think this is the clock.
Я не русская, но я из России. Привет.
How do you feel, Rover? Glad to hear it. A strong frequency cut the signal soon after you entered the dark side. What exactly happened in there? illicit discords. They have no business being in the dark side. Seems the situation is even more delicate than we thought. And that student you met?
Sigrika. The reflections mentioned her name.
Да, Wuthering Waves классная. Или как еще ее называют, Gathering Wives. Это название мне нравится больше.
She's considered to be a future Heliotic 6 successor. An A-list student, brilliant in deciphering runes and passionate about every aspect of Academy life. Never one to hesitate to lend a helping hand. That kindness has earned her many friends.
Including Navora.
Yes, Gathering.
I've seen them together several times. Navora's reflection also spoke.
Собиратели жен. Thank you for follow.
We both know who Navora really is.
You think Sigrika might be the one the Grand Architect was talking about?
В смысле странно? Ты видел, сколько в этой игре красивых женских персонажей?
She may have just entered the dark side by mistake. Still, Navora could have influenced her more than anyone else. Besides, I'm curious about the riddle she received. She said it's some kind of rune picture.
I've reviewed every registered riddle for the new solar celebration. None fit that description.
Then we'll have to speak with her directly.
My thoughts exactly. The new solar celebration holds great importance for the Roya. You'll likely find her at the event venue. Contact me if you need anything, Rover. I'll assist however I can.
Ну, я вкратце расскажу. Значит, нас попросили разобраться с темной стороной Академии. Вот. Мы попали в какое-то пространство, откуда не могли выбраться. И там к нам на помощь пришла девочка Сигрика. Вот. Она какая-то очень крутая ученица, которая в будущем станет очень крутой, значится, как они называются-то, старейшиной, вот. Что-то типа такого. И нас сейчас просят ее отыскать, и что, возможно, мы найдем ее на каком-то событии, вот. Короче, кто-то в Академии творит херню, и мы должны выяснить, кто это, вот.
Energy consumption increasing.
Dr. Luke and I will speak with the students you saw appear in the dark side. As for Sigrika, I'll leave her to you. If you need any help with the investigation,
Хорошо.
come find me. And Rover, as a student yourself, do take some time to relax and enjoy the celebration.
Energy consumption increasing.
Indicates a 12% anomaly in rare earth.
Low FPS. Please let me go. Low FPS. Окей. Может быть и слабый. Но вообще не очень слабый. Проблема в том, что стрим же еще очень много жирает. Вот. И моделька тоже. Но еще, как мы все знаем, эта игра очень плохо оптимизирована. Боже, какой кошмар. А в чем проблема? Wait. I will try to close everything. It should be better now.
Long time no see. How's it going?
I will just show you a bit what's happening now. I don't know why actually. Захват окна. Окей. Wow. Okay. It doesn't want to show it. Okay, then this way. Like, do you see it? What the hell? Why the game it's so much? Yes, I also like Malevich Square a lot. Like, why? Why?
Oh, come on. Don't get all formal on me. But look at you.
У этой игры очень плохая оптимизация.
People seem so out of it these days. Like they've all just crammed for a month of exams in one night. Anyway, what brings you here? The celebration, I guess.
Да, приятного ужина.
Sigrika? Sure, I know her. We were in the same year. She saved my butt in Royan Cultural History. I never would have passed that exam without her. Now she's like my senior or whatever. She actually came asking about how we dealt with that void worm a while back.
And now everything is okay again.
Said she wished she could have been there to help out. Oh, and she's planning to get your autograph too. Since you're looking for her... Oh, right! Let's go ask Denia. She's a friend of Sigrika's and is in charge of the celebration's entrance tickets. She might know where she's at.
Тюлины. Line and her clone. I mean, clone, not clone. Yes, I'm a clone. Okay. she's a real one, and I'm the clone. Some celebration.
There she is.
Oh, it's Dania? Мы все Аяна Мирей. Is it over now? Did I finish the game? Actually, I think I should restart the game.
She's not here.
Maybe it would
Probably
fix
off
something.
solving riddles again.
That's alright. To be honest, I don't think I can keep doing this anymore. Just tell her I said thank you.
Made your decision? Well, no one's going to blame you. Not everyone's built like Sigrika.
Her design is so beautiful.
How does she
too.
manage it? No wonder they call
I
her
like
a
her a
future
lot.
melodic sixth successor.
Your guess is as
Dania.
good as mine. Leaving? See ya.
She has interesting pattern in her eyes. Thank you for follow. Why it looks so bad? Her jumps.
Here for her help too? You'll have to get in line.
What that even
She's
was?
been running herself ragged with all these riddles lately.
She's after Minerva's treasure too? But isn't her sorting exam coming up? How's she handling all that?
You'll have to ask her. She's the one who has to live up to the whole Heliotic sixth successor thing.
Actually, if the problem would be in my computer, my model would be laggy too, but it isn't.
Personally, I'd just let it all go. Life would be way easier that way.
Yeah, but then she wouldn't be Sigrika anymore.
Huh. Just wait here. You'll run into her soon enough. She's been in and out of the dark side all day. Those portals can open anywhere. Who knows? Maybe she'll just fall out of the sky.
She knew it. Oh, it looks so bad. I can't.
Like that.
Hello, Nikki Enjoyer. Actually, if you like Line, wait a second. Wrong way. If you like Line, I highly suggest you to watch this anime. Yep, it's really good one. About ghetto girls with a nice attitude. Okay, let's continue this low FPS horror.
Oh, Danya, did Isla come by?
She did.
Why it's smooth again? What the hell? How it even works?
Said to thank you. Looks like she figured things out on her own. So, she doesn't need your help anymore. Oh, also, you've got visitors.
Upperclassman Linnae, you're back. I'm so glad. And this is...
I don't know. Может, он наоборот починил
You're
FPS.
the upperclassman now, Sigrika. She and I are just lowly freshmen.
All my life is a casino.
By the way, this is Rover, the one I told you about.
Actually, I live in gacha. Still didn't get a husband. Didn't spin a lot, probably. Didn't spend much for it.
Wait, you're the Rover? I can't believe you're still a freshman. It's so great to finally meet you. I'm Sigrika. Linnaeus told me all about you. I can't believe you're the one who took down the void worm. So, what can I help you with?
Mind if we talk in private?
In private?
He's so oi,
Sounds
he,
serious.
she is so
Better help
cute.
her out, Sigrika.
It's nothing serious. I just have a few questions.
Okay then. We should find a quiet spot.
Go see the
Without
Divinator.
Denya.
I'll get you tickets.
Or with Denya.
Good idea. I can pick up the new riddle while we're there. You're the best, Nia.
Nia? Cool nickname. I like this one.
It's Denia. Now off you go. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's head to the Divinator's place. See you later, Linnae.
Yeah, I'll get back to work. Bye, Rover. And check your messages when you get a sec. See ya.
Let's get to the venue, Senior.
Привет, Капитошка. Спасибо большое за такие теплые слова. Мне безумно приятно. Спасибо тебе огромное. Тебе тоже больших успехов.
Gotta go fast.
Denya, I can talk to Denya. Oops.
Celebration of the new sun. For the Roya, it's like the grand finale of 1,000-year duty. But duty is just a fancy word for the chains you put on yourself. I think life feels better without the extra weight. Just ask her whatever you want to know. She'll help you, no doubt. That's just the kind of predictably boring person she is.
Huh? What? She didn't want to answer me about herself? Are you serious, Racy? Well, I'm sure about game characters you are totally serious, but what about other things?
Hey, incredible voice.
Okay, okay. I hate that you liked it.
I heard the student who solves the most riddles gets a wish granted by the Academy.
What's your wish?
Well, I'd like to get a clear photo of a bird. Yeah.
Nice music.
She sounds hesitant. Is she trying to hide something?
Oh, I really like it, I think. Would like to dance.
This one's good enough for me. Denya said this year's theme is all about Royan culture. As a Roya myself, it would be a shame not to take part. A good friend of mine loved this event too. We used to solve riddles together. I don't know where she is now, but I want to keep going, for her sake, until she's back. I think she'd be happy if I did well.
Look, Sigrika just passed your score.
That's a Heliotic 6 successor for you. It's only natural. It would be more of a shock if she couldn't solve them.
Let's go.
Welcome to the cycle. Gotta go fast.
Interested? This is the Mind Dive arcade. The games here are so immersive you can easily lose a whole day. Would you like to try one?
Let's go. I love arcades. Speed up. Mini game. Okay. We have to collect food. No! Well, at least in this game we don't have HP, health points.
Something is not right with this leaderboard. How are they this much ahead?
Привет, Рамрин. Yes, I like Chisa a lot too.
Got a long bucket list.
She's so
Scissors
great.
at the ready.
Actually, I think she has the most beautiful story in this game. Cause they added a really beautiful location for her. Did you watch her story quest?
Something is not right with this leaderboard.
The other one for me, I think, would be Morny.
I need not wait for a starry night.
She has a really beautiful
Nor
design
tilt
too.
my gaze to seek the sky, for I have placed it at my back, in my hands, and upon my eyelids.
My girl. I guess I can show you other showcases. Wait. Yes, husband the collector, of course. It's the main husband of this region.
Self buried beneath the frostlands. When the snow thaws, we'll meet again.
A
among the
doctor
new
with
blooms of
beautiful
spring.
hands. Okay. This one is a Chinese aura farmer.
Name the target.
He's really cool. He's the reason why I returned to the game. A drunk blind master of sword art. Oh, Chisa. She has a cute cinematic with a cat.
I will sever this deadlock.
Yes, Racy, I highly suggest you to watch her story quest. It's Anes.
Did you see me?
It's the main push character of this region.
Outlaw blue, Apollo orange, hazard yellow, acid green. Wanna guess what color is my next pick?
Oh, it's Frolova.
Come, let us finish this performance we've all been
Actually,
waiting for.
I don't like her design,
Together.
but her story. That's how they sold her character for me. I think that her story quest is the best in the game. It's so cool and it's so cool and tragic. Yes. А ты вообще проверял погоду, прежде чем куда-то ехать? But I like a lot her combat system. Yes, I like a lot dead inside girls with long hair and red eyes. And actually with white hair, like Frolova actually is. But I don't like her dress. It's not for me. But if they if they would add a new skin for her, probably I would buy it. Yep. Блин, лишь бы у нас снега не было. Я не хочу снега. Пожалуйста, не надо, я уже устала. В Питере, потому что это двойная жопа. В Москве-то хотя бы убираются, в отличие от Питера. А в Питере, ну ты там ворочайся как хочешь. Падай, не падай. Блин, мне стало интересно, как у нас сейчас погода, потому что на днях я выходила, было тепло. За что раз-то? Я не виновата в том, что ты не можешь выиграть с нами игры. Это skill issues. Ah, it's really cold here too. It's 4 degrees. Моя МФ в лесу прекрасна. Игру проиграла не я. Хорошо, Раста. Я снова начну брать МФ в лес в АП, и мы посмотрим. Я не закончу это дело до тех пор, пока я не выиграю МФ в лес и не докажу тебе, что ты не прав. Ты меня услышал? Ты меня понял? Ты сам напросился. Ну, я согласна. В основном убираются только в Москве, на самом деле. It is Wuthering Waves. Gacha open world game with gacha system. Рассказывай мне, Раста, ничего ты не удалишь. Скачаешь снова, я-то тебя знаю. Гача слоп. Е-е, гача слоп. At least this game has a lot of beautiful waifus. Is it a rhythm game? Well, okay. Tutorial track. Let's go. Wait, what? Ah, JKL what? Too much buttons to press, actually. Okay. Wait, what should I do? Wait. Okay, I get it. Tuts, 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 tuts. Tuts, 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 tuts. Yes, I like this game mode. No, you have to play the game to Gunun characters. Because you know why? Because if you don't do that, you actually a fake Gunner. It's better actually even to buy all the merch of the character you like. To prove your gooning status.
Such a high score. How did you do that? You'll have to show me your secrets sometime.
Да, я провожу. Экзамен будет на следующей неделе. Подготовьтесь. Будут вопросы по вашим любимым персонажам. Ну ладно, не по вашим, а по моим любимым персонажам, окей?
This is it. Denya found this spot. It's quiet, and not many people come here. See? Perfect for a chat. Senior, you wanted to talk about what happened in the dark side, right?
Until I know where she stands, I won't mention the Grand Architect. I'll see what she has to say about the other topics first. Denia said you've been busy solving riddles lately.
Yes, it's great fun. I'd like to solve as many as I can before the celebration ends.
Notice anything unusual while you were in there?
Well, everything in there is unusual. You know how they say the dark side reflects people's truest selves? Once, I saw a black cat that wished to go home.
It's about
It
us!
was a brilliant cat, with black wings to fly. Another time, I talked for hours with a ghost.
It's
I
Annes.
couldn't see her, but I could hear her voice. No, it disappeared in a hurry. Thinking about it now, it was probably someone's delusion. Such strange but fascinating experiences. I could spend an entire day in the dark side, leaving all my worries behind. But the disturbances in there lately. You must have heard about them too.
So those things we saw yesterday.
Wait,
especially
did
the
I
room
pink?
that
Wait, what? Maybe. What did I do? Wait. I didn't know actually. Maybe I did it. It was an accident, guys. It was an accident. Believe me, this was an accident. It not because I saw boobs word in the chat. Believe me. Did I unpin it?
nowhere.
Hello, Artikais. What? You should be joking! No way! Okay. Let me search for the message I should pin actually. Okay, it would be this one.
If I just leave it like this,
I think
it's
it
just a
describes me
normal
well.
name. But if I invoke its true name,
Or maybe this one?
I can call forth the power sleeping within.
What invoked the one we saw before?
Привет,
I had
Константин.
no idea. I tried to trace the source, but those runes seemed to come from nowhere.
It's worth a closer look. We should go back into the dark side.
Then we're going to need this.
This? You mean this?
Can you hear me, Didi? Wake up. It's Sigrika. I'm Tor.
DD, Scientific Divination Unit. The name Divinator is retained due to high student approval ratings. User login, Sigrika. Switching to Riddle Channel.
Riddle channel.
If you would like a
Well, I
riddle,
think coffee
please
is
answer my
working.
questions.
A Q&A?
I'm
Really?
feeling much better now.
The black of deep space.
More
or the white
energetic.
of the Frostlands.
What? White?
Deep space and the Frostlands both represent the unknown. But I like warmer tones. They remind me of the sun.
Solitary study or collaborative gaming with friends.
Of course. Of course, I would choose to play on Rasta's nerves.
The gift of miraculous comprehension or earned recognition from others.
Artikais, I don't have anything that could be energetic in the bottom part, you know? Or did you mean yourself? Да, пока что не очень понятно, что там зависимой девушки. Спасибо большое за отзыв, очень приятно. Я так понимаю, что для лучшего понимания в идеале нужно допройти типа игру на какую-то, хотя бы на какую-нибудь из концовок, вот. И потом уже смотреть сериал. Я так понимаю, что это продолжение игры, только тут расширяют ее мир. Вот, показывают, в принципе, все. И жизнь простых, обычных, типа людей, которые пытаются стать знаменитыми, и уже каких-то знаменитых людей, которые пытаются вот с ней побороться за первенство. Ну и, в принципе, типа, показывают темные стороны общества. Вот. В смысле, Артикайс? Yes, I completed a game on... I think I had a bad ending, as I remember. Да можешь смотреть и без игры. Просто с игрой тебе было бы, я думаю, понятнее, что там вообще происходит. Я думаю, что они и так все объяснят. Но первая серия, она такая, наркоманская чуть-чуть. You know, Rasta, I felt so bad after playing this game because it was like I saw me in the mirror. It was so bad. I was able to relate to a lot of things. So I don't want to play this game. Well, second one, okay.
You answered so quickly. As for me,
Yeah, Rasta, yeah.
Dee analyzing data.
But playing this game is just the same, you know? Both at the time.
Here's the riddle.
It's a picture.
Yes, all of Didi's riddles are pictures. The way into the dark side is hidden somewhere in it. And finding your way out of the dark side solves the riddle.
The girl in the picture is drawing runes. The light emanating from the runes appears to dispel the darkness, yet also seems to nourish the shadows. A line of tiny glyphs. Oh, is it teeny? It's teeny, right? Let me check. No, it's tiny. I was right. Momo Crash? What is that? The monsters beneath the shadows are drawn to the light. Perhaps they are being nourished by it. Oh, wait, no. I don't think I have this game.
Look at where the student is standing. I think I recognize this spot.
What's she drawing?
Runes. This one represents the sun. It's super important to us, Roya. The sun blesses the land with its light. Everyone, from the past to the future, gets to bask in its warmth.
But this sun seems to be feeding the monsters in the shadows, too. Doesn't that seem wrong?
Now that you mention it, it does. And it reminds me of that rune we saw before.
Then we're on the right track.
It's
Any
like
other clues on the riddle?
Oh, here! A line is written on the back. Through me, seek the gift. Seek the... I've got it! I think it's telling us to find this sun. For us, the very first rune we ever learn, the most familiar one, is the sun. To bathe in the blessing of sunlight is its own kind of inheritance.
In other words, finding the sun rune is our way into the dark side.
That's right. It's just like a game I played when I was little. The elders of our tribe would hide runes all over Bjotr Woods, each one leading to the next. All we had to do was follow the trail to find our way out of the forest. And now, the sun is the first rune in our trail. To solve this riddle, you're going to need a guide who really knows Royan runes.
And it is you,
She's right.
Sigrika.
Otherwise, I'd waste too much time.
I got it.
And if she's connected to the dark side's disturbances, it's best I keep an eye on her anyway.
What's wrong? Don't think I can handle it, Senior? I'm pretty good, you know.
You sure do like to help out, Sigrika.
Great! You can trust me, Rover. Let's go find the answer.
She's a good girl. She has a vibe of a
I should send
puppy.
this riddle to the president as well. She might find something we missed.
Lucilla, Sigrika and I received this riddle from the divinator at the celebration venue. I've attached the photo to the coordinates. I'm concerned other students might be getting similar riddles. Very well, we will trace it. Focus on your investigation and be careful. Well. Actually, I already forgot how we did that. What actually did we do for that? It wasn't only chat cache, I think. Short memory streamer, you know? I really don't remember what we did.
This one, and I also want that one. So many to choose from. What should I do?
Make up your mind already. We need
need to move on to the next zone.
I wonder what it would be like to study in this kind of academy.
Hey! The incredible Voidworm Rider. We're screening a document.
Incredible Voidworm Rider. What do you mean by that?
When I met you in the dark side yesterday, I didn't realize you were the one in Linne's stories. She said you're very determined. You always do whatever it is you set your mind on. I think that's amazing.
Then do it working.
Gotta go fast.
I know that you are strong enough to make it working. Low FPS again.
Found it. It should be here. Do you have a camera? Let me enchant it with a room.
Well, you what do I want to say? I'm a little stupid with a short memory. It's my chat who have to babysit me, not the opposite.
There. Now you should be able to see it too. Here, try taking a picture.
A picture of runes. I am expert in this field.
There it is.
A concealed rune won't escape these eyes. Now, I'll illuminate its true name. If we follow its guidance, we'll find the answer. Look! A trail of runes to follow.
No! Not low CPS again! The real monster of this game. The real horror.
You know, when I played that rune-finding game in Kyoto Woods, I was always the first one out. Everyone said I had a gift, that I'd be the first again and again and again. They all believed in me, so I had to work even harder to live up to it.
Well, Racy, it was a jump scare from Steam notifications. You scared me, actually. Momo Crash? Riff game, I see it. Thank you very much. Do you really want me to play this?
I spent so much time
It's your
studying
plan
those runes
to see me playing
before I realized it.
Horny rhythm
Everyone had
game?
moved on to more important things. And the game had already ended.
Would I be banned on the stream for this game? No, low FPS monster again. Please don't touch me.
Gotta go fast.
Actually, I have some rolls. Free. Purple. Purple trash. Blue trash. Blue trash. Oh, cinematic? Low FPS cinematic.
All the runes lead to
Ah,
this
no, it's not
place.
cinematic, it's just a low
Has to
FPS
be an entrance into the
scene.
dark side. Remember you asked what I was doing in the dark side yesterday? I was there for the riddles. But what about you?
Кабанья резня.
I'm looking into something important. I'm sorry, but I can't share the details with you yet.
Oh, that's okay. Just tell me whenever you're ready.
We're searching for the way to save our daughter, Amies.
Time to illuminate this room. On 3, 2,
1.
say cheese.
Cheese! Cheezu! Do you like cheese? I like cheese a lot.
Do you really believe in yourself? Do others trust you? Stay here. Just stay here. Stay with these feelings. Everything will feel so simple. So simple.
Because of her voice, I want to sleep again.
Simple.
Good night, guys.
What was that noise?
I heard it too. Not sure who was speaking, but it made me feel uncomfortable.
Let's head that way and see what's going on.
Follow me. I've been here a few times.
There's a black hole in the blackboard.
Oh, that one. It's proof of all the tired students dozing off during early 8 o'clock lectures.
It's a rune.
Sorry. It's a rune.
I just illuminated its true name. We can teleport from here now.
Another 8 a.m. lecture. Why do I have them? Another 8 a.m. lecture.
Is that her? One of the successors of the Heliotic Six.
These are reflections created by the dark side.
The deepest truths.
Dark
within
feelings
them.
of the students.
So that's how they see me.
successors of the Heliotic Six.
Come, my sweet Sigrika. Solve this riddle.
Gentle mother.
Mother?
Use the ability that brings you such pride. Waiting is the path to your gift.
I never expected to see my mother's reflection here. She's always been proud
Привет,
of me.
Кастория.
I won't let her down.
Let's take a look at this riddle together then.
Yes. We should be able to teleport from here. But the flow of its true name is reversed.
Still waiting for the moment when
This
you're gonna be bald, Rasta. Or bald? I don't remember the exact word. Yes, it's bald. I was right.
We need to correct.
But at least you will have the power of one punch. Isn't that cool?
That's it.
That's it.
That rune looks similar to the one I saw yesterday. I'll go decipher it.
I knew you two could do it. Forward
Line
you must
tables.
go, my child. Solve all the riddles, and an excellent soulsworn you will become.
Soulsworn.
I understand. No matter what the next riddle is, I will solve it.
So you mean you won't have any Moscow Steel 40s?
I solved it! But why?
Too slow, Sigrika. You should have done better. Are you feeling unwell?
We've already solved this riddle. Nothing for you here, tacit discords.
So, this is what Mother thought when I wasn't good enough. I don't want to disappoint her.
You are good enough. We've solved the riddles. We already know our next move now.
You're finally here, Sigrika. I've been waiting for you.
Nivora.
Nivora. Another reflection tied to Sigrika.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it by now. So, figured out your wish yet? Once we crack these last riddles, we can make it come true. Time's ticking, Sigrika.
These reflections keep pressuring her.
Sorry,
Don't worry, Sigrika. You're not in this alone.
Riddle solved.
Still too slow, Sigrika. You spend all your time deciphering runes. When do you ever have time for us? Or is it that you don't even have a wish? Is that why you can't focus?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be faster.
No hesitation. Hopefully this helps. Huh. Strike from the shadows. Huh. Huh.
Actually, now,
Breathe, Sigrika.
while playing this quest, I noticed something I didn't understand before playing all these games. It's about how you can relate to the main hero. And now I understand why it's difficult for me to relate. If you never if you never had experienced something like this, you would it would be difficult for you to relate. What I exactly mean is that I think I never had these kinds of moments when there were a person near me who supported me when there were hardships in my life. I mean, exactly in the moment. Not about friend and family who says to me that everything would be okay, everything would be fine. I'm gonna do everything alright, and other feelings. I mean, a person who would be near me at the time of my problems, like someone who would take my hand, or how to say it. To hold my hands, yes. I hope I was able to explain it right.
I am breathing. If I can adjust the resonance equations, I can speed this up. Then the tacit discords won't show up. And
Even if they do, we'll deal with them together.
But Mother and Nivora, I'm letting them down.
But is she actually lived with Pichan? Now, after watching the equalization, I have a feeling that they talked only by internet, no? Like, I'm even not sure if they ever met each other in real life.
If that's what they really think of me, then I have to...
It doesn't matter. They're only reflections born of the dark side. They've been targeting you from the start. Don't give them what they want. See? The path is still forming, even with the tacit discords here. That proves we're on the right track.
With your gifts, you should be much faster than this.
Oh, Sigrika.
Sigrika. You can do it.
Are you feeling unwell?
Faster this time. I have to be faster. Yes, Sigrika, you can do this. These runes won't beat you.
It's much easier to relate to our companions than the our main character.
Why are the runes interrupted? Am I too slow? I need to clear the interruptions. But how should I do it?
I can help. It seems we can smash down from mid-air to clear the interruptions.
Wait! I see it now. The gravity is reversed here. That grapple point will take us up.
What should I do now? Ah, okay.
Ha ha!
Huh. Wait. This one, yes? Ah, yes.
By the flow of their true name, I will make this path.
Are you sure you can?
You're pushing yourself too hard, my dear. Do not waste your gifts.
Oh, cinematic. Looks amazing. Why boards are attacking us? Tables, I mean.
Are you alright, Senior?
Tables attack.
Did you get hurt?
I'm fine. Are you?
I'm okay. But why did the rune explode? I lost control.
Mm-hmm.
It's already the final riddle. Your last chance to prove yourself.
Tell me, what does a gift or an endowment mean to the Roya? I want to hear your answer. You can do this, my sweet child.
The answer is...
Just follow your heart.
To us, Roya, the sun is an endowment. For me, the sun is also...
Pick a Park is a really funny game. I remember how we played it. Like, did you have a teammate like Bimchik in your team, Rasta. I actually don't believe it was more funny than it was with our team, with Yegor and Bimchik.
The first rune I ever learned. So, it has to be the key to unlocking any gift. That's it. I believe in my choice. The answer is the sun. It's wrong? But why?
A child who fails does not get to leave.
Isn't it should be the tribe or maybe the people?
Sorrow, disappointment, self-doubt. Why do you still keep going?
What is with these monsters? Why do they look so sexy? Why do they have booba? Why do they look like you're able to, you know, to make children with them?
There you are.
This game even has monsters to goon.
See? My little pet performed wonderfully, don't you think? So, Rover, what will you do with all these emotions? I'll be watching. I'm going to cherish every second of the time you've bought me.
Yes, Lorelai is beautiful. But she's like more, but she's looking more like a human to me than this one. This monster we just saw didn't have a head, but only had booba.
All clear.
And
No lasting harm.
nice hips.
If the runes didn't
with
answer,
long
it's likely
legs.
because your heart wasn't quite in the right place to call them. Do you still remember what I told you last time, Sigrika?
You said I should have more faith in myself.
And not to push yourself too hard. Here.
Rasta, I was raised by a Silent Hill movie with a beautiful horror nurses and this pyramid head man who is sexy too. He's too hot actually.
Have a candy.
That song we heard, it felt nostalgic.
You liked it.
And do you like amnesia monsters? As I remember, in Amnesia, there weren't any sexy monsters. Only some pieces of flesh tied with each other. Or tied or tied. I think it is tied, right?
Fleet Snowflow songs always do bring a little warmth to the soul. When we tried to enter the dark side to help you, we found our frequencies
League of Legends player can't be a healthy person.
night.
So you're a liar.
That thing hijacked it. Only students were allowed in.
I'm not a shizo.
So we had to get creative. Luckily, it can't control the emotions already inside. Every emotion leaves a mark. The fan meeting you held not long ago left the students with plenty of happy memories. That song helped guide you right through that thing's blockade.
It's no ordinary tacit discord. What exactly is that thing? I want to know what I saw in there. Please trust me, Professor. And you too, Senior. I really want to help.
What we can confirm is that the tacit discord was sent by the Fraxidus.
The Fraxidus?
Their Grand Architect tipped us off about their plans on the High Roy. That he will play a game with us.
It seems the game she referred to as this riddle event our students are so fond of. We've already tracked the participants. The effects of these riddles are already spilling into their real lives. Some abandoned their research projects. Others are lashing out at classmates. And a few have lost control entirely. These students have all become pawns in the Fraxidus' little show.
You're one of them, Sigrika.
Me?
Those riddles and tacit discords we encountered in the dark side were clearly targeting you. I thought you might have been linked to the recent disturbances, but now I see you're just another victim.
What kind of game would do something like this? We have to stop it. I can help you solve these strange riddles. Professor, Senior, please let me.
You need to rest, Sigrika.
Why? Because I'm not good enough?
Because it's dangerous. I see how determined you are, but I won't risk my students' safety.
Just take it easy for now, Sigrika.
Senior. I see.
I still think we should let her in on our plan. You know how desperately that girl craves validation.
We can, but not while she's like this. You once said she lacks confidence, Dr. Luke. From where I'm standing, she has too much of it. see that she's a fighter. She believes she's capable of living up to everyone's expectations.
Ah, too much light.
Or rather, she thinks she must. She may as well be walking a tightrope. I've seen many students like her. Every single one believed they could always be the best, that failure wasn't an option. So they pushed and pushed. Remember that student I mentioned? The one with the flawed but brilliant hypotheses? She didn't just leave Star Torch Academy. The Academy lost her for good.
She died?
She lost her balance on that wire. That is exactly what the Fraxidus wants to dig their claws into.
There you are, Siggy. Where's that new friend of yours? Let me guess. They're off planning something big, but didn't want you in on it.
I just wasn't good enough.
Oh, here. Dusk honey pot flavor. I know it's your favorite.
It seems something yummy for me. I want to eat actually.
The riddle thing. Or
I just understood it right now.
is it about proving worthy of being a future Heliotic 6 successor?
I just don't want to let anyone down.
I know that this girl is a main bitch.
Every single student came to the academy with a heart
A
full
fake
of
student.
promise. That promise is what keeps this academy standing.
We will not sit back and watch the Fraxidus exploit that. And let's not forget, the knowledge these students hold can shape the future of Lahairoi itself.
Which means we're in a race against time. That tacit discord was feeding on energy. If the dark side is a vortex of emotion, then that thing is the eye of the storm. We have to find it.
You may want to stock up on the candy, Dr. Luke.
Huh. Can I apply for reimbursement? Anyway,
Please, more Luke in
Rover,
this quest.
just get some rest. We'll keep an eye on the dark side. Don't worry.
As you say.
This game won't end the way the Fraxidus intends.
So, Dr. Luke just said me to go to rest. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I don't know, it's probably some kind of game mode. I will check it the next time. And now I'm gonna to have some rest. See you in the next few hours. There would be a collab stream with Ами. We're gonna play Phasmophobia. Да, мой любимый доктор. Доктор, который любит угощать всех своей сладкой конфетой. У него всегда одна предпрятана, в штанах. Actually, Rasta, did you check on the settings for a collab stream? I feel like I need to eat and actually I would like to take a nap. Yep. There's so a lot of things to do. I have to dub another episode of our blue slime. Yes, there also should be. I also have to do a new episode of Dr. Stone. And I think it's yes. I think it's all text, all what is left for today. Раз ты меня не понял, я спросила, посмотрел ли ты, что нужно, типа, для совместных стримов сделать, вот. Ты просто как-то упоминал об этом в прошлый раз. Actually, I started to watch Dr. Stone. I think I watched first 2 episodes. But yes, I really want to watch all... I'm so sleepy that I'm unable to talk properly, sorry. I would like to watch all Dr. Stone seasons. Yep. So, let's see you in few hours. I wish you a good evening. Yep.